The wind pried itself through Detroit's narrow alleyways on that cold November night, sweeping dried leaves into frantic dance across the cracked pavement. The streets, deserted and silent, felt abandoned under the dim glow of flickering streetlights, which cast quivering reflections on puddles left by an afternoon downpour. Each puddle seemed to whisper stories of escape, of water breaking free from the sky, only to be betrayed by the cold concrete below. Jack Turner trudged home from his late shift at the repair shop, pulling his jacket tighter against the biting wind. His footsteps echoed in the emptiness, slow and deliberate, an old rhythm he relied on to keep his thoughts in line. Beside him, Buddy, his retired canine partner, moved with a silent grace, every muscle attuned to Jack's pace. Though Buddy no longer wore the uniform of service, he carried himself like a sentinel, ears forever pricked, eyes forever watchful. They walked past crumbling brick walls and shuttered storefronts until Buddy abruptly halted. His stance stiffened, body tensed, and a low whimper escaped his throat. Jack exhaled a weary sigh. "What is it this time, boy?" he murmured, squinting into the darkness. Buddy padded forward, nose down, to a battered cardboard box shoved beside a rusted dumpster. Jack frowned, curiosity and dread knotting in his chest. Kneeling, Jack lifted the side of the box, revealing a tiny, trembling figure swaddled in a threadbare blanket. A newborn baby lay there, pale skin nearly the colour of the tarp beneath him, arms curled in a futile attempt at warmth. Buddy lowered his head, nose brushing the infant's cheek, and let out a soft, mournful whimper. Time slowed. Jack's breath caught in his throat as the weight of the moment settled. This was no random stray. It was a fragile life on the brink. Jack's hands trembled as he stripped off his own jacket, cocooning the baby in layers of warmth. The child's lips, tinged an alarming blue, parted in a tiny shiver. A cold shiver ran down Jack's spine. "Buddy, thank goodness we came this way," he whispered. Buddy stood guard, eyes riveted on the child, every sinew ready to defend against unseen threats. Jack fumbled for his phone. 911, I need an ambulance. I found a newborn. She's freezing." His voice cracked, the night air cracking with it. Sirens tore through the quiet, red and blue lights splashing over dripping walls and scattered trash. When the paramedics arrived, Buddy lunged forward, placing himself protectively between Jack and the open ambulance door. Jack's hand rested on the dog's head, voice low but firm. "We're not leaving without her, Buddy." Buddy's tail made a single, decisive thump against the pavement. The warmth of the hospital lobby felt surreal as Jack carried the bundle of blankets inside. He could taste the cold, still coating his lungs, but it faded under fluorescent lights and the soft hum of medical machines. Buddy padded beside him, paws quiet on the tile floor, eyes scanning every corner as though he'd never let his guard down. A nurse took the baby, murmuring reassurance, and led Jack and Buddy down a corridor where minutes stretched into hours. Finally, a nurse emerged, offering a small smile. "The baby is stable, severe hypothermia and malnutrition, but she's going to pull through, thanks to you." Relief flooded Jack's chest. He hadn't realized how tightly he'd been holding his breath. Buddy lifted his head, tail wagging softly, as if he too understood the miracle that had unfolded. "Can I see her?" Jack's voice was a whisper. The nurse nodded, guiding them to the neonatal unit. Through the incubator's glass, Jack saw the baby's chest rise and fall in measured. Buddy stepped closer, nose inching forward. The dog's usual alert intensity softened into a protective, almost reverent gaze. Jack stood beside him, three souls drawn together by chance, or perhaps by fate. Jack sank onto his stiff waiting room chair, fingers laced, eyes glued to the incubator. Buddy curled at his feet, yet ears remained attuned to every beep and hiss. The night stretched on until footsteps approached. Emily, the nurse, beckoned them back. "We need to start the adoption process if you want to move forward." She spoke gently, but her words landed like stones in Jack's chest. He thought back to that cardboard box in the alley, the baby's fragile fingers curling around Buddy's muzzle. His mind raced. He could repair machines blindfolded, but nurture a child? The very idea felt foreign. But then Buddy lifted a paw, placing it softly on Jack's knee. An unmistakable signal that he wasn't alone in this. Jack exhaled, voice rough. I don't know if I'll be any good. But I can't just leave her. Buddy wagged his tail, and Emily's soft smile made it official. Their journey together had begun. That evening, Jack unlocked the door to his small apartment. A single bed in one corner, a cotted workbench in another, and a kitchen barely big enough for two. Now, standing in the middle of it all was a small crib and a few newborn outfits thoughtfully gifted by hospital staff. Cradling the seeping infant in one arm, Jack set her gently in the crib. Buddy immediately padded over, paws resting on the edge, sniffing the baby as though ensuring her safety. Jack let out a soft chuckle. I didn't know you'd take this so seriously, Buddy. The dog simply wagged his tail before curling up beside the crib, eyes unwavering. Morning light filtered through a cracked window when Jack woke. His gaze fell not on Buddy, but on curious eyes peering up at him from the crib. Good morning, little one, he murmured, heart swelling. Then, ever so lightly, the baby offered him her first smile. Warmth bloomed in Jack's chest as he watched Buddy nudge the infant's tiny hand, eliciting a soft giggle, and then pure magic. The baby laughed at Buddy's careful, playful sniff. Jack laughed too, realizing they already loved her more than they ever thought possible, that hook keeping him poised for everything to come. The first night tested their resolve. A faint cry sliced through darkness, and Jack fumbled with a bottle, panic creeping in with each whimper. Buddy, sensing Jack's helplessness, gently hopped onto the bed and laid his head on the baby's tiny stomach. Almost instantly, the cry subsided. The infant reached out, grasping Buddy's fur, and drifted back to sleep. Jack's throat tightened as he whispered, "We did it, Buddy. We're a real family now." Buddy wagged his tail in the dim light, the guardian's vow. Weeks later, Jack's phone rang. Emily's soft voice, heavy with apology. A relative, Sarah, the baby's aunt, had come forward to claim her nephew. Jack's chest tightened as Sarah entered, young but resolute, telling Jack she needed to set things right. Buddy planted himself at the foot of the crib, body taut with silent warning. Jack braced himself, throat constricting each time Sarah reached for the baby. But then came a small cry, and the infant's tiny hand shot out, fingers searching the empty air where Buddy's muzzle once lay. Sarah paused, eyes widening as she watched the baby scrunch his face, then relax when Jack carefully placed him back in the crib. Something shifted in her. Moments later, she gently returned the child to Jack's arms, voice trembling. He's already found his family. Jack's breath caught. Buddy sprang forward, tail wagging furiously, pressing his nose into Jack's hand in joyous affirmation. That evening, the three of them stood around the crib, Jack on one side, Buddy on the other, and Sarah watching with a genuine smile. Jack knelt, taking the baby's hand in his and whispering, "We found each other in this big, chaotic world, and we'll never lose each other again." Buddy lifted a paw to the crib's edge, eyes shining with quiet understanding. In the hush that followed, relief and love radiated through the room. They hadn't just rescued a baby, they had saved themselves, forging an unbreakable bond under the cold November sky. And though the future remained unwritten, one thing was certain. Together, this unlikely family would face whatever came next, hooked by hope, driven by love, and guarded always by a loyal heart in fur.